Welcome. This is the wrap-up of the August 23rd, 2021 City Council meeting. Relatively, not relatively, a very short agenda tonight. Other than the consent agenda and paying the bills, we only had one item on the regular agenda. But we did have a very lengthy, the meeting started late because we had a work session prior to the regular meeting that was very informative. We had a update on where we're at with the Civic Center improvement project. We were able to see some, both hear about how we got to this point and what the options are to move forward. And we were able to see a 3D rendering of what things would look like if it goes through from our architects and designers. So it was actually very informative. You know, we know what the roof situation is, but what we did get to see is how the mainly upper lobby, but other parts of the arena as well, but the upper lobby would change, different options that are available, what the overall price would be, and then the consideration of alternative bid items. So rather, we'd have like a minimum cost, and then depending on what the overall bids came back at, we could add on 3 other items separately if the bidding came out favorably, but we would not have to if the bidding came out unfavorably. So we got the update tonight. The next part of the process is it will go to the community steering group, of which, you know, there are 5 council members, but there are 19 members that are cross-section representation of the city of Grand Rapids, and users of the facility and non-users of the facility that are going to take a look at the same thing we saw, come back with recommendations to the council. The city's recommendation at this time, maybe that will change, but is to not go ahead with the, start with the bidding on the trusses perhaps this winter, maybe even by December, with not having to accept the bids, but to go out and see what they would cost. But we're looking at pushing the project back 1 year from the original plan. And many of you know that the price of lumber has gone up significantly since the pandemic has taken place. There's both a lack of supply, but also huge demand with people at home working on home improvement projects. So the price of lumber has gone up, and we want to make sure that we get the best bid possible for the taxpayers on this. And so we want to be flexible on when we would move ahead with the project. So it's not to say it couldn't start this year, but the city's recommendation, or city administration's recommendation, is we probably postpone it so the actual construction of the building wouldn't start until April of 2023. So we knew it wouldn't start until at least 22, but we're looking at maybe moving it ahead to 2023. So that is the kind of the gist of what happened at the work session, but it was very informative, and we hadn't heard for a while where the project was at, so it was very good to be able to ask questions and see where things were progressing. On the regular, on the consent agenda, we paid the bills. We hired some temporary and part-time seasonal staff, and did the typical things on the consent agenda. We had one item on the regular agenda, and that was to enter into agreement with Paul Bunyan Communications for the city's telephone services, and looking at getting the best quote there as possible. And so we approved that this evening. So not a lot on the agenda this evening, but we will be back. Actually, the city's looking at the budget process. We will have a work session next week to kick that process off. Certainly won't be the end of the process, but we have a work session next week, and we will be back the second week of September, second Monday, September 13th, and enjoy the good weather, hopefully the good weather until then. It looks like we are going to get a little bit of well-needed rain, but also it was a beautiful day here today, and hopefully we have some more of those before fall hits. So with that, we'll see you in a couple weeks.